Now that's hip hop.
Uh, all right, stand by. All right, stand by. Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. Welcome to Therapy Ain't No Joke. Good evening, good day, good morning, whatever time you are watching the program. I am Sean Garvey on the left or right of your screen. We also are joined by Rasta. Welcome to the program, Rasta. Therapy Ain't No Joke. And I am glad to have him on the show. We're back. And this time we're on other streaming platforms and other platforms outside of Honey and Reach One Communications. Big shout out to the team over at Honey and the Flow Television Network. But we can also be seen worldwide and in your local area in the beautiful city of Atlanta, Channel 24 on Comcast, ATL Community Media, and big shout out to the team over there. Rasta, aka Mr. Goodman, how you doing, sir?
Absolutely great on purpose. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you for coming on. Therapy Ain't No Joke, and I'm glad that you are doing great on purpose. And I always love when you say that you are doing great on purpose, because you are doing it on purpose. It is not an accident. You are doing great on purpose, as you should be doing each and every day. And happy Mental Health Awareness Month. We are in the month of May. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. From now all the way up to the end of this month. And we're going to be engaging in a very great conversation surrounding mental health. And I think in the month of May that we're in right now, it is very important for us, especially as men of color, Black men, to have a healthy discussion surrounding mental health. But before we get into all that, I want to be able to reintroduce you, Rasta, to the viewers and to the listening audience, and even to the viewers that are watching us on ATL Community Media, Comcast Channel 24 for the very first time. Who is Rasta? And I got to give you your flowers, by the way, because you've recently been certified to actually dive more deep into the mental health field. So let the people know a background history on your profession as a forensic peer specialist, if I'm saying that correctly.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, I'm certified peer specialist in mental health through the state of Georgia. I just recently got certified as a forensic peer mentor. Previous, I was in the role of, yet it's kind of like a doctor without a PhD. So I went and got certified, and it's just one of the many, many, many more accomplishments to come. Everybody calls me Rasta, also known as Mr. Goodman. Humble from the mud beginnings. Have my own mental health trials and tribulations, since we also touching in on Mental Health Awareness Month. And my journey was long, but I'm here. And as we all get to build and several episodes go by, everyone will get to see that and see that growth and see, not just with their eyes, but in their mental, exactly how far I've come and how far they came, as long as they do it on purpose.
I couldn't agree with you more. And we want to make sure that we are not just only here to have a conversation to discuss, but we are also here to provide solutions and information to people that are in need of mental health services. And if you missed any of our past episodes of Therapy Ain't No Joke, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, in which we will provide that to you towards the end of today's program. We're not new, so this is not the first episode, but this is the episode of many more episodes to come. And today's topic is, since we are in the month of Mental Health Awareness Month, today's topic is mental illness. Is mental illness at an all-time high? And I'm going to tell people, including you, Rasta, how this question came about. So I have a cousin in my family, and who's also from New York, because we talked about the whole New York thing offline. And she posted something on Facebook saying mental illness is at an all-time high, which prompted me to give her a call. And, we had some offline conversations about that. But I also said, you know what, this is a good thing to talk about, an important thing to talk about in one of our many episodes to come here at Therapy Ain't No Joke. And mental illness, we talk about it a lot, just to give people a background history behind Therapy Ain't No Joke and how we gotten here to talk about and to raise the question, is mental illness at an all-time high? So I started this show called The Mental Space on 1380 WAOK. For those that do not know or may not know, I am the creator of the show, The Mental Space. And I was fortunate enough to be the first broadcaster in the history of radio to launch a weekly show on mental health on an AM station, predominantly Black talk radio in Atlanta. And I was able to get a lot of different people from all various walks of life, whether it's from people in the mental health industry to people in the television media industry, even pillars of the community leaders, celebrities, people of influence. And they would come on my show and they would give information about mental health services, but also, Rasta and our viewers, they would tell their story about experiencing different mental illnesses that they at one point experienced or have succumbed to at one point in time, whether it was trauma, whether it was depression, whether it was anxiety, isolation, and all the different things that come along with mental illness. So to fast forward and to rename the show Therapy Ain't No Joke, the ongoing spinoff to The Mental Space, I wanted to raise the question today. Is mental illness at an all-time high? And I think it is, in my personal opinion. And, just from talking to my family member, we see it all the time, not just on the news, not just on TV, but in our everyday lives, whether we're going to work, whether we're getting on the train or the bus or going to a venue, and you see somebody or you come in contact with someone that appears to be not in the best place, or they may be in the best place, but they're not showing it. They have it bottled up inside. So that is today's question. Is mental illness at an all-time high, Rasta? What do you think?
Absolutely. No question. No question at all. It's evident. Social media, just going to the store, driving in traffic, our family members, those who are on drugs, those who are emotionally unstable, those always angry, things of that nature. These are identifiers as an unstable mental health space. Some statistics to throw out there, right? As of 2024, 19% of the country's population, right? 19% had a mental health illness. That's roughly almost 60 million, right? Almost 60 million people. Out of that 60 million, roughly only 43% receive some kind of health care, some form of fashion. That's just of 2024. We're like almost 6 months in 2025. There's no telling what it's going to be. That's just in 2024. Picture the people that have been on the planet as long as you and I, our parents, their parents. No idea that it was called mental health. No idea that they had a problem. Thinking that this is just what life is. I'm gonna figure it out. My grandma did it. My granddaddy did it. I'm gonna do it too. So is it at an all time? Absolutely, absolutely. And if it's not, if attention isn't brought, if awareness, education, and the application of this education isn't brought, it's gonna get higher. No question.
You mentioned social media. You mentioned social media, and I remember one time a couple of years ago, I had a special guest on the mental space, and we talked about the addiction behind social media, right? And I can see that social media plays a very pivotal role in people's mental health and well-being. To now, people are just so addicted, not only to their devices, but the things that are on their devices. We have full access to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, all these different applications that are on our phones. And you know, when social media, from my understanding, when social media was invented, it was meant to connect people, reunite with people, and just be a harmless thing to where we can connect with anybody around the world and reunite with people that we have never talked to or seen in 10, 20 years or 40 years or what have you. But now it has turned into something else to where social media is always brought up in the conversation, if you will. What are some of the misuses from your observation, Roster? What are some of the misuses that people, subscribers, or people that are on these social media platforms? What are the misuses that users are facing or doing when they have this type of accessibility to these various social media platforms?
A variety, but innumerable. The issue comes in, and still being based and grounded in the topic of mental health. Everyone thinks that social media was actually created to bring people together and reunite and connect. No. It was given to establish a greater space in separation. And because we weren't able to identify that and catch that based off of what we were fed, here we are, X amount of years later, what, 15, 16, 17, 20 years later, from the first time it was roughly introduced to now, complete destruction, even to bullying online. People are bullying online more than they did in person, because in person, you know, they had to face that at some point. Social media is used to be bullying, which contributes to a greater space of mental health effects that will deteriorate any type of actual social connection, which is what it was supposed to be used for. So, like I said, let's throw a little statistics out there, little facts.
Sure.
Suicide as of 2024, suicide still remains a serious issue. Over 40,000 deaths annually. So what does that mean? That makes suicide the 10th leading cause in death in our country. The 10th. The 10th suicide? That's mental health for you. That's definitely mental health for you. Social media on a phone, what they call a device. If we start looking up things like etymology, the history and origin of words, device actually means to separate, to bring division. So you say my phone is a device, my laptop is a device, but these are the tools that was given to us to reunite and connect, when they're actually, the name of it itself means to divide and separate. So how did they do it to the point where we're at an all-time high Easy. They created what they call an algorithm. So let's say I'm growing up in a neighborhood, and no disrespect to anyone's neighborhood. Circumstances are circumstances. We're all greater than that. And we can all be greater than that on purpose as we come together, as we unite, as we uplift, as we educate, and as we push forward. Yet simultaneously speaking, if I'm seeing all this nonsense and foolery going on out here, guess what? I'm more inclined to look it up on my phone. Whatever you look up on your phone is set up to send that immediately as a pattern. So if I look up firearms, if I look up provocative dancing, if I look up, unfortunately, how to make drugs, okay, guess what? All of this content is going to come to my phone, and it's going to come up on Facebook. It's going to come up on Instagram, Snapchat, so forth and so on, whatever other media outlets there are. It's going to automatically start to pop up to encourage, because if I keep seeing it, I'm going to keep being interested in it, which adds more to the negative space of mental health.
The algorithm. I hear people talk about it. It's the algorithm. It's the algorithm. It's the algorithm. And it's like the more controversial stuff or the more sensational stuff I put out there, the algorithm would pick that up and it would draw more eyeballs. It would draw more traffic to my content, to my page. It's like people just want the attention, Rasta. People want the attention of having many followers, many eyeballs, many clout, much clout as they need. And hopefully that they could turn this into a full-time job or turn this into something that will open doors, open opportunities for them. And I've seen it happen, and I've seen people who have used social media for good, but I've also seen people who use social media for not so good things just for the algorithm. And so can you explain to our viewers some of the issues or some of the things that people can have problems with, or those issues that they may be having from the overuse, if you will, of social media? Like what can that individual be able to inherit when they're on social media all the time?
In anything that they choose. See, like I mentioned earlier about having a great day on purpose, being able to create the narrative in my life. So let's say people are using social media without them knowing, being aware, they're creating the narrative in their life using social media. If you're not using it with purpose and intent and being mindful, the negative aspect grows larger. 60,000 thoughts on average is what runs through the mind of the average one individual per day. So between the two of us, we're going to average 120,000 thoughts. 48,000 roughly is negative. 90% of that 48 is repetitive. So let's think of that in the context of social media. If I'm looking and I'm having these negative thoughts and it's already repetitive, in my mind, me looking this up is normal. So it's become a norm. So the negative has become a norm, and the development of it has become a norm. And I'm assuming that this norm is good. I have a mental health imbalance. It's completely unstable. The biggest issue come in, we don't know it. The average person doesn't even know that they have a mental health issue. So therefore, if you cannot acknowledge that your actions is a development of this, being on social media will definitely contribute to it, because your constant use of it or misuse of it and not knowing what it's for or even how to use it. Nobody was really taught how to use social media. Everybody kind of had to wing it or learn from a friend, like, yeah, I learned this. And then you go do the same thing. So the use of social media technically is a consistent and constant misuse of it majority of the time without a person even knowing. It's gonna contribute to the greater factor and the greater number of the increase of mental health illness being at an all-time high. Because we just don't know.
Yeah, but do you think though that the average user that on social media, like say for example, let's talk about the person that's putting out the content. It seems like they have this satisfaction of putting it out there, and like I said, they want the attention, they want the clout, but it's their own personal satisfaction of what will I gain out of this financially or from a credible standpoint. This will make me something bigger than what I am, and not knowing the long-term effects that come along with it, whether it's having a lot of built-in social anxiety in them. From that standpoint, how would you look at that standpoint from the person that's putting that type of stuff, putting that type of content, or putting those rants out there? Do you think they're doing it for their own personal satisfaction, or what are some reasons?
I think, multiple. I think some people are actually putting it out there just to see what happens. Some people are putting out there exactly with that intent of, yeah, let me do this. Let me attempt to create this. But a lot of people are actually just putting it out there because that device, which means to divide, has actually separated them from people, separating them from actually socializing, which is what the mind actually needs. It feeds off that. That's why they say it take a village to raise a child. So if I'm in my house, you're in your house, and everybody we know is in their house, but we're on social media, what raising is there? So when let's just say I go and I put something on and I post something, and hopefully I make a meme and I get some likes. Yes, now I'm happy. Now I done satisfied something inside of me, because now I got some attention. Oh, people like this. People like me. A boost in a low self-esteem that was established by feeding off of someone else's low self-esteem, attempting to build theirs too. A whole bunch of crabs in the bucket trying to get out. Trying to get out. Everybody trying. And nobody can identify how to get out except to do what the other person's doing. So if I get more attention than that person, then everybody will see me.
Let's switch gears. Let's switch gears for one moment and talk about from the other end of the phone, because what you're saying is right on point. From the other person's end, the consumer, the viewer that's looking at all this stuff, scrolling and responding to all of this posts and these comments, or not, to people's comments, because they also respond to people in the comment section as well, to videos and stuff. A lot of times what the viewer is watching on social media becomes a trigger effect. Like all of a sudden now I'm triggered, meaning I'm traumatized or re-traumatized by what I just saw. Does that cause a short-term or a long-term effect to the consumer that consumes that type of content on social media? What do you think?
Long-term for those who don't recognize what's happening. Short-term for those who can catch it. Like, dang, oh man, I've been watching this and it's starting to make me feel like this. Maybe I should stop which identify a short term. The long term is for the person that just not able to catch it. They see and they scroll, they comment, and then some people are activated and don't know that they're activated because it's become a norm. The viewer views, the viewer may comment on somebody else's comment. It is a terrible effect. Sometimes it just differentiates between which one is worse, which effect is worse on the individual, on the viewer. So if it was me at this point in my life, I'm okay. I can look at stuff and I can be fine, or just be like, oh my God, I don't even know why they put that on social media. That's terrible. And I'll block it because that's not for me. That's not me. Prior to that, oh man, hood fight. Oh my goodness. Did you see her wig fly? Oh my goodness. Did you just see the guy drive off in the car who just hit this person? That's entertainment for you folks, not realizing that that is also traumatizing and you just don't even know it. Just by viewing.
Yeah.
Viewing alone. It costs the consumer more than they can spend. More than the little, what they call them, the little crowns or the little roses or the little gold coins they receive. If they get a certain amount of likes and a certain amount of viewers and a certain amount of context, they get rewarded for putting this stuff out.
Yeah.
They get a slight incentive for being affected by it and in turn creating something to affect somebody else.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Did that answer
for those who are just
sometimes I do.
No, it did. No, it did. It raises some very great points in what you said involving or surrounding social media. We're coming up on the next half of Therapy Ain't No Joke. If you are just tuning in, I am sitting next to my good brother Rasta, aka Mr. Goodman, and he is going to be joining with us for many more episodes to come in the future for Therapy Ain't No Joke. I am Sean Garvey. You can see at the bottom of the screen there to follow us on social media at The Mental Space Live. And we also have a YouTube channel, Reach One Network. You can see all the information at the bottom there, your ticker. And if you want to follow us there, and if you want to watch our content, you are more than welcome to. But most importantly, we are on ATL Community Media Channel 24. So make sure you tune in and watch us there as we are coming to you live, not only by way of streaming, but also by way of linear television. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I thought it was only right to bring back Therapy Ain't No Joke in the month of May in observance of Mental Health Awareness Month as we talk about mental illness. Today's topic is mental illness at an all-time high. Now, here's where I want to center the conversation into now is people's past, people's history of experiencing things and how the internet, because we just got done talking about social media, how the internet plays a role in at times reminding people of their past or reminding people of their past trauma, whether it's their childhood trauma, their relationship trauma, or even their work trauma, because there is such thing as work trauma. And the influx of so many content creators and videos that we see so much on the internet or even outside of the internet, it just reminds us of everything that we have witnessed as a kid, right? And it shows when you're interacting with people in conversations, professionally and or personally. You can bring up a social media influencer or a YouTube influencer, and that person is automatically triggered in a conversation. Or it could be something you watch online or something that you've seen on an app or on the internet, and it just reminds you of troubling times that you witnessed as a kid, as a baby, even as a teenager, or even as a young adult. And do you think that's also a part of why mental illness is at an all-time high? Let's say you, Rasta.
Absolutely, no question. That kind of goes, and I love the flow of this conversation because it all connects and reconnects, which goes back towards what we were saying for those that missed in the first half, just kind of touching on statistics and mental health and touching on the algorithm. The algorithm, to me personally, is important because what you asked, the algorithm is the influence. Bearing in mind, we are the creators of the algorithm. So I'm doing my best to be the best I can be. I'm scrolling. I'm the viewer. I'm strolling, and I see something. I don't want to see that. And I see something else, having these activating moments, whether it be on internet, social media, whatever the case may be. It does have a mental effect on me. The problem once again comes in me not realizing I'm the one bringing it to me based off of what I look at, based off of what I like, based off of what I share. That's what's gonna come to me. If I see things majority of the time that may spark an effect, a negative effect on me, an activating moment on me that remind me of things in my past that were hurtful or sad, depressing, or giving moments of anxiety, realistically, in the majority of the cases, I triggered myself because I brought it back to me. I know these things because I experienced it. I looked up this, and this for 3 days straight. Until I changed it, it came to my social media. It came to my it came in a commercial when I tapped Google to go look for something. When I was on Instagram, it just came. So I said, well, let me look up this. So I looked up Bluetooth radios, laptops, literally. Funny part. And Sean, I did that for 3 days straight. Until I changed it, prompts of laptops, different Bluetooths, and different segments of Therapy Ain't No Joke, different interviews you did prior to establishing this wonderful and amazing platform, things from the mental space, they just started popping up. So what I did was I started looking up furniture and iced tea. I wanted to see how tedious it get. Furniture, iced tea, and press-on nails. I did that for 4 days straight, and until I changed it, that's what was popping up on my social media. And I said all that to say, due to the experiments I've actually done, not just something I've read, to definitively touch on what you asked, yes, that is a large cause. However, we have to remember and pay attention to the fact we're the ones causing it. We're the ones bringing it to us. We're the ones activating ourselves and don't even know it. I challenge. This is a therapy challenge because it ain't no joke. I challenge anyone that was wonderful enough, kind enough, respectful enough, and supportive enough to watch Therapy Ain't No Joke. I challenge you to go in your phone and look up 3 things that you want to see for 4 days straight, no matter what. If you don't want to see it, block it. But look, then wait another week or so. Don't look up nothing else if it's not important or pertinent to your health or your job or family affairs. Watch the rhythm. All of that in some form or fashion is going to continuously come to your phone. And if I'm right,
that is one.
Please share, subscribe, follow Therapy Ain't No Joke because we're here for you.
Yeah, that's one heck of a challenge right there. And I think it's also important too that people be mindful of what they consume and what they watch. Social media is the new television, and what you consume and watch will determine how you react to things, how you react to people, and so forth. I consider some of the stuff, and it's not all bad stuff that is on television or on streaming platforms, but there is enough stuff that is out there that is pretty much junk and not good, not healthy to the person's mental well-being. You know, um, we can come back to that in just a few moments before we end today's show. But I want to talk about COVID for a moment, which is something that people to this very day still talk about. It's always being brought and talk about in conversations with what happened in the pandemic. COVID really did a number on a lot of people, not only physically, but mentally as well. Let's say you, Rasta, Mr. Goodman, with mental illness being at an all-time high, and that's an opinion, by the way. I want to make sure I let people know that this is also an opinion piece. We're not just only throwing out their data and information, but we're also giving our well-educated opinion about how we look at mental illness today, in the present day, in the present time. But what do you think about the pandemic from almost going on 5 years ago? Do you think that offset mental illness to be at the level that is at right now?
To a large degree, yes. It's kind of like talk about something I know that I overcame. Prison. Prison is mental. It's not per se physical. Physically, you're there. But prison is a mental place. If you are weak-minded, you will not make it. You will be either prey or succumb to your own thoughts. A lot of people while in prison go to what they call special housing, or what some people use slang, the shoe or the box. And back there, you're completely isolated. Just you and one individual as a roommate, 23 hours, you come out for 1 hour, go back in, it's over with. Some people that drives crazy. I brought that analogy up, say, you're in your home and you cannot come out for X amount of time. Then it goes from you cannot come out for a certain amount of time to where everywhere you go, you're restricted to what has become the norm. So your normal has changed and your normal has been challenged. When a person's normal is challenged, it kind of shakes their perception and belief, and it's scary, and it sends people into a shock. So from me wanting to give somebody a hug or a handshake, I got to stand 6 feet away with a mask on. The lady at the neighborhood store who I've known the whole time might have bought some cookies too, or she was sick, might have bought her some soup too. Now I got to stand 6 feet away from the counter with plexiglass, and both of us have a mask on. Yes, that is slightly traumatizing continuously, because now it brings again a disconnection. It's the disconnection being re-emphasized to bring the whole conversation as a whole, from social media to devices, to the internet, to the viewing of content, to commenting on content. It just added to what COVID did. I don't think, now, based off what you said a few minutes ago, my opinion, the division was already put into place to make a person's or people's mental health unstable. It wasn't moving fast enough. So here's COVID. For whatever reason, I have my own speculations to bring a faster, larger separation. I believe personally that was intentional to disrupt people's health space and affect people mentally. Because not only is there a separation, people are dying at a high rate. Family members, from what was once looked at as the common cold or flu to now I really can't be around. Not even my loved ones. If they don't live with me, I can't be around them. That sent people into depression. That developed forms of anxiety in people. Just out of fear of catching it, let alone a fear of catching it from somebody you love, or the fear of watching someone you love catch it. And you got to sit and watch these people go through this. So yes, COVID was a heavy impact on a person's mental health stability continuously and constantly. But then you go, me once again, it comes out and all of a sudden you have vaccines for 15 million people. Where'd you get that from? There was no way in the world you could have produced that fast. And this just happened and you have no idea what it is. But that's just me though.
Right. I remember talking to plenty of therapists, even psychiatrists, and they told me that their phones did not stop ringing during 2020 and 2021. 2022 kind of somewhat slowed down just a little bit, but not too below. But their phones would not stop ringing from people dealing with all these different forms of mental illness. And I would say to them, hey, you got your work cut out for you as a professional. And so with mental illness being at an all-time high, in our personal opinion, as a professional like yourself, what makes you want to stay in the position that you are in with mental illness being at an all-time high? What is it? What is it that keeps you in the position and keeps you doing the work that you do?
I've been doing it my whole entire life. I just never knew what it was, if there was a profession and what they called it, and there was a whole lane for me to be the best version of myself. I became the result of developing a stable mental health. I'm the evidence of all that I've been through. So in my mind, I can be the evidence to help support someone through it. And everybody deserves it. Everybody deserves that chance to recover from anxiety, depression, addiction, or just need somebody to say, hey man, I believe in you. I've always been the person that people came to. Having my own issues, I didn't even know I had issues or that I was taking on other people's issues. So I had a whole mental health issue of my own, several of them, that caused me to be violent and a dangerous person in certain circumstances. So what keeps me thriving, even at the high rates that it is, or possibly may go higher, is because I'm great at being the best version of myself on purpose. And I'm the evidence that anybody can do it. So I love being the evidence of what I say and what I speak and what I stand on. And if I can do it, the next person can. I can give them the support that I didn't have when they really need it.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, today's topic is mental illness. Is mental illness at an all-time high? Right here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. Sean Garvey here, sitting alongside with Rasta, aka Mr. Goodman, as we talk about all things mental illness. Two Black men here in today's broadcast having a very important yet a healthy conversation on mental illness being at its level, at its all-time high. And speaking of Black men, with us being Black men, obviously, so many conversations surrounding Black men and mental health. And it's not to exclude Black women or women in other communities and other groups, because we do hear them, we do listen to them. But where is mental health with Black men in today's society, in today's world, from your viewpoint, from your observation? Where are we at as Black men in mental health, and are we at an all-time high versus our women counterparts?
Women are amazing. Women are wonderful. They are one of the best things that the Most High has ever fashioned and placed into existence. The struggle of a melanated man or Black man is to be identified as the standard model for a leader in a home. It's hard to do that if that leader is not in the home or around, and there is a system in place and designed specifically to tear that down. For instance, mother and father in a home raising a child. Okay. The woman tends to the sensitivity, the nurturing, the guiding, the uplifting, the sympathy, the empathy, the grace. The father does it just in a masculine way and begins to show a male how to nurture that sensitive side in a way where it develops him into maturity. Yes, there are plenty of women who have raised men, but no woman can raise a man to be a man more than a stable man who's raising a man. So kudos to all the women that did it. My mother did. Shout out to you, mama. So when you have a system that's set up to remove the father, empower the woman, and put the woman in a mind state where, look, we're going to do this, this, and this, and this for you, but he can't be around, and when we find out he's around, we're going to take everything from you. You've demasculated that man. And then that develops continuously over time, where now it becomes okay to demasculate a man. So you have someone raising a female, raising a male, demasculating him, not knowing. And then any male that come around has a tendency to demasculate him. So the example is, it's okay to tear down a man, and he's supposed to stand there and take it, but he can't cry and he can't have an outlet. You've poisoned the structure. And in poisoning the structure, in tune, you have offset the development of Black men, because now you have to go outside of the home and possibly outside of the neighborhood and maybe outside of the city, or at least your side of the city, to even have a chance to find or run across a role model by accident. Because there's not a lot of role models out there who are volunteering to say, I'm here, soldier, do you need me? Coming into the neighborhoods like they used to when we were children. What y'all doing over here? None of that. Y'all stop. Come here, where your parents at? Come here, let me talk to you, young man. You're not doing that no more. I do it, people look at me like I'm crazy. Yeah, that's not your child. Yes, he is. That's not your daughter. Yes, that is. If we all look at it like those are our children, without putting your hand or being violent on these children, because these are not your biological children, and even your biological children, there are methods and ways to address them and have disciplinary action without being violent. However, I can chastise that child. That child is in my neighborhood. That is a child. That child needs to stay in the child place. What are you doing over there? Stop. Go to the parents. Or where your parents at? Where you live at? I'm finna go talk to them. Just like this network. Reach one communication. We have to reach each other. We have to reach at least one and communicate effectively to develop that man into what he's supposed to be. I had a conversation a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, with a wonderful gentleman, great guy. And we spoke about the extinction of black men. It's leading there. If we continue in the same direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah, I mean that's definitely a different conversation. We need to have another day, because that's going to take another hour out of this show here. But it's very, very important to talk about, and I appreciate you for the time that you spent with me and with our viewers to talk about this important subject. But we want people to take away something from today's show. And my last question to you is, what can we do as a community to bring the numbers back down, to reduce the number of mental illnesses, not just only in our community, but I say in the country, in America right now? What can we do? What part can we play to reduce those numbers?
It's not about educating. It's not about spreading. It's about educating ourselves in order to spread effectively by applying it. We can all talk about it till we're pink in the face, red in the tongue, with no teeth left in our mouth. But if we're not actually doing something, physically doing something, it's not going to get done. So if we're working in a community, guess what? It's not about having the meetings and talking about what we're going to do or what each individual is doing. No, we come together and talk about what are we going to do tomorrow, later this week, or next week, together to make this happen. That's what it's going to take. All the meetings, all the halls, all the coalition groups that are out there. There are some good ones, by the way. However, all the coalition groups out there. Oh yeah, and I'm doing this over here, and I'm doing this over here. Here's my number. Here's my email. Here's my number. Here's my email. No. What are you doing? What are you doing? How do we put that together? And how can we do it this week or next week? Because it shouldn't take us coming together today and then 3 months down the line we're having another meeting about the same thing and ain't nobody done nothing. That's where the tone and the inflection in my voice comes from, because I'm tired of people not doing something.
It's all about the action.
Now that's what I'm adamant about. That's my activating moment. If I was scrolling, let's do something. So the answer to your question, direct, we got to do something immediately together and stop talking about it. Educate, provide the education, and move together. Plan, plot, strategize, and it can be done. You just got to want to do it and do it on purpose.
Yeah. Absolutely. Putting the work. Well, we're running out of time. Rasta, aka Mr. Goodman, thank you so much. We're going to see many more of you in the next episodes to come right here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. And I want to once again give big shout outs to ATL Community Media Channel 24 for letting this show and my other show be a permanent home to you guys. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we're simulcasting on Honey, the Flow Television Network, Reach One Network. But if you want to learn more information about what we do, go to reachonecommunications.com. That's reachonecommunications.com. You can also follow us on social media at The Mental Space Live. That is at The Mental Space Live. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Reach One Network. That is at Reach One Network. I got to give a big shout out to Ray Melody. That is what you are hearing in the background, the music bed to today's show. Therapy Ain't No Joke. So big shout out to Ray Melody, and thank you to the crew behind the scenes helping us out with the production of Therapy Ain't No Joke. And also be on the lookout for Sean Garvey and my special guest also coming to ATL Community Media Channel 24, and it will be available on Comcast Channel 24 and Xfinity. All right. So until then, thank you for tuning in to the relaunch of Therapy Ain't No Joke. Me and Rasta will see you on the next episode. And please, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that if you or someone you know is facing a mental health crisis, to please contact the National Alliance for Mental Illness helpline. And the telephone number is right there in front of you, 1-800-950-NAMI. That's 1-800-950-6264. Or you can send an email to info@nami.org. Their operational hours are from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. info@nami.org is the email address. And Rasta, you have anything to add before we close out?
Yes. For direct specific emergencies besides 911, you can always dial 988 on your phone to get immediate help.
That's correct. Absolutely. And it's right there on your screen, right there. Like Rasta said, dial the crisis and suicide lifeline, 988, if you or someone you know is facing a mental health crisis. Until the next time, me and Rasta, we will see you on the next episode of Therapy Ain't No Joke. Take care.
Greetings, everyone. It is the architect, Sean Garvey, and guess what? I am back in the beautiful city of the ATL, as you can see in the backdrop here. Looks a little bit like the old Atlanta, but not the new Atlanta. I'm just saying. But I'm here to let you know to join me coming soon to Atlanta's Channel 24 as I introduce a brand new show called Sean Garvey and My Special Guest. Make sure you join me as I sit down and have one-on-one conversations with the best and brightest stars in the radio, film, TV, and even in the music industry. Plus, you get to learn something from yours truly and from my special guest. So make sure you join me, Sean Garvey, and my special guest coming soon to Atlanta's Channel 24, available on Comcast and Xfinity. And make sure you follow me on social media at Sean Garvey ATL. Mama, I made it! And I'm not even on the news.